It's working. Everything's working. Yay. What is good? How we doing? It is Tuesday, and you know what I didn't even think of? I set my lights on this persistent setup, so when stuff happens, my lights were dialed in for what we're doing here. So now I have to wait for them to chill out to go back to their persistent setting. Thanks for the host, though. I appreciate it. Hopefully, there we go. And it's going to go back to red, and then it'll eventually go back. No, that's because people are hosting. No worries. Something I didn't even think of. I was like, oh, I should just shut off my lights. But appreciate it. Darth Snoop, 916 Junglist. Thank you for the host. Aaron, thank you for the sub. Sub numbers are, I'm not going to lie, they're way down, but that's as expected. But you guys, man, you keep throwing me that 5 spot, which I appreciate. It helps me get my tea and all the other things. So as usual, we are gonna kind of just shoot the shit for a couple minutes and allow people to get in here. I will be putting this on YouTube as is. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is a 45-minute to an hour long. I got this light on persistent, so that's not really gonna do anything. And it's I don't even have Leon board on, so it's not even gonna change scenes. There we go. Hey, we're back to normal. I should put that on though. But the yeah, so if you're watching on nope. If you're watching on YouTube, it's a couple days after. This is a live stream, so there is going to be questions. There is going to be things of that nature. Before we get into this any further, I'm going to post a link here that we can reference later. Basically, I have asked on a couple of occasions for Serato to implement persistent saving of software-based effects. In this particular case, I actually went and made a formal request. The other requests, direct conversations or, other means. This is a public, get the people behind it, co-sign it, +1 it in the Serato forums there, basically asking them to allow not just which effects get saved to Serato, but the parameters. So thanks, man. This is the good one. This is not the one with the my MP3 pool on the back. Nothing against my MP3 pool, but this is kind of the hard one to get. So one of you guys that use controllers, I'm a recent adopter to the controller game, and it was out of sort of necessity. Some of my venues, paid a fair rate for us to come in, and there's not room for my decks and my mixer over here. I have to use something small. So I started out with the SR1, got to the SR2, and I dug the SR2 for a very, very, very small footprint unit. It's pretty dope. But then the 1 came out, and I was like, man, without throwing it under the bus, this was what I wanted, like in a controller, and it still is. And you could say, well, then you should have just got an NS7. I get it. But the problem for me, and it's not a big problem, it takes a minute to fix, but it's annoying. If you go into Serato, matter of fact, let's go into Serato. If you go into Serato and you look at your effects, basically, all these effects, I'll turn some knobs here so you can kind of see what's, well, I'm in triple effect, so that's not going to really do what it's supposed to do. And that's the wrong knob anyways. See that turns all 3 knobs. Now on the SR2, you have individual knobs, which is nice, but the problem still remains. If you go into your settings, which I will do here in a second, and switch it from 3 to 1, you now get echo. That's just the one I'm working in right now, right? But that allows me to add a proper feedback. So generally speaking, what I like to do is if I'm playing dance music, I'm up around like 74, 75. If I'm playing hip hop, I'm more down around like the 60 range. Now, this isn't so much a rule as it is just something that I happen to do. I feel like with hip hop, a shorter trail is better, whereas with dance music up around 75, you get a nice echo trail that lasts about a bar. And you can always roll it off with the knob. So if like that echo, you feel like it's going too long, you can always just take the depth knob and just kind of roll it off, and you know, you can end your effect, or you can extend it by pushing it up. The problem is I get this here, I find my high pass filter cut off that takes off a little bit of the low end, so you don't get the kick like coming through your echo. And you're like, great, I love it. You click save, and then you go back to triple echo, and now your echo is back, and you come back and you are back to default. You're back to the default settings, whatever, 30% feedback, no high pass cutoff, back to default. Even if you save it, it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, no matter what you plug in, every time you come in or go switch from 3 to 1, you lose your settings. Like I said, it's not a big deal. So what I lobbied for was, if in fact you could either set the default state of a certain effect to whatever you like. So if I set the default state of echo to a 70% feedback and a 60 dB high pass cutoff, and set that as the default, when I go into 3 echo or 3 effects, it then is going to use that effect parameter that I set that I like, as opposed to every time you log in. Now, the reason why this is sort of the duality of this problem is, as you saw, it's really easy to go into fix. At the beginning of a gig, you're doing your setup, you go in, you do that. But it also disallows you from utilizing other things on the mixer unless you commit those 3 parameters the parameters of 3 different effects completely to memory. So if you're using, like in this case, echo, I know I like echo where it is breaker, which is kind of funny. I was anti-breaker for a long time. And for those that don't know, one of the reasons why break ended up on the 72 was actually Jazzy Jeff requested it, and people were like, just hit platter stop, dude. But that was before, well, I wasn't there for that conversation, but there was, you know, the ideology of master tempo disallowing you from doing a proper platter stop, or even pitch and time, even worse so. So having break as an effect, while it seems like kind of like, you know, day one kind of really simple schoolyard effect, why would I? It's like almost like, remember scratch? Remember like the scratch effect? You hit a button, it's like jigga jigga. Why would you put that on a mixer? Why would you put break? Well, in the realm that we're DJing in now, when you have pitch and time running, or even just regular master tempo, when you go to do a break, you can't. Like it sounds like crap. It just stops. So having break as a hardware effect is actually a pretty cool way around disabling master tempo, which there are shortcuts to do on all the battle mixers, but this allows you to skip it. So it actually comes in pretty cool, like when you're doing chases, or you just want to do like a platter stop break out. You don't have to take that extra step and shut off and turn on master tempo or pitch and time. If you guys never seen it, there, if you're here on my YouTube, there's a whole nother video about the 72 and pitch and time, and how to set some quick buttons to disable it. You can actually now set it to those parameter buttons, which is what I did. Also, if you're one of those guys that works in the screen as opposed to the effects screen, you're in the waveform screen, you can actually put toggle buttons in there too. And you can actually shift them and use sync lock as well. Sorry, key sync, not sync lock. So all that's in the screen now, as well as loops. So you can use the encoder to choose your loop length. Pretty dope. But back to this. This is the big problem that I have, and I would say most of the people I spoke to that bought a one, yeah, so well, there's two, Billy. There's key lock or master tempo, which is the original version, and then there's pitch and time. Pitch and time is the really beefy, you know, good sounding one, and master tempo, you start getting around 4 to 5%. The problem that most people said they were having with this was the fact that the Serato effects for somebody coming from a 72 or an S11 or an S9 onto let's just be honest, for a lot of guys, this is their first venture into a controller, and to come over and have to wrap your head around Serato effects, it's not daunting, but it's just kind of like, well, I never use them. Fair enough. Like on my mixer, hey, what's up, Fader? On my mixer, on my 72, I have break, echo, and then the third effect, I'm honestly still fishing for the perfect one. I've tried a couple different ones, and some of them are just too aggressive, and some of them just, you know, meh, just meh. But again, it comes down to one major detail for me. If I could say, let's just say I'm not going to use it, but let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to go in and start using, let's just pick a random effect. I'm going to go in and start using one of the more wild ones down the bottom here. Let's say particle delay, right? So particle delay has spray, feedback, width, and grain size. So those are 4 parameters that are really going to change the way this sounds. Now, if I have to remember every time I start up Serato to go to echo, change the echo parameter to 70% on the feedback, 60% on the high pass filter, and then I have to remember to go into particle delay and go and change the spray up to like 40 milliseconds and bring the feedback over to like 85 and bring the width down to 30 and bring the grain size up to whatever to make that effect sound how I want it to sound, I'm not gonna do it. Like, and this is the same on S11, the S9, the 72, the 70, all these like paddle-based mixers. Every time you open, you have to go in and set these. And I think for a lot of guys, you just get to the point of like, man, I'm already juggling a lot. Juggling. To remember the parameters of these numbers, I only remember my echo because when I was using my 62, I knew where I liked my echo settings. So I just brought that over into Serato. It still doesn't save. I still have to go in there every time. So again, I'm going to put this in here. If you guys, not now, but if you guys remember, go in and just cosign this, +1 it, talk about how much you don't like it. Maybe Serato has changed quite a bit. Back when I first started working with them, I would bring ideas, the community would either get behind it or shut it down, and then they'd be like, hey, we'll try. You know, we'll see what we can do. Example, you guys probably know, like, you can click on a cue point and change it to text. That was actually my idea. So, like, I brought that, they shut it down. They were like, nah, can't do it. And then they changed the way metadata was written, because if you guys remember, metadata used to be written to like an adjoining file, and they were like, we can't do it. And then they changed it, and then they added that. So there were some things that like the community has come and brought to them, and they've been like, that's dope, let's do it. You know, you guys probably remember like AM mode was huge. Now it's a TikTok sticker lock, amazing. But given everybody's using phase and other, sticker lock is barely even a thing anymore. So I think it's going to take us going to them and being like, you have to come up with a persistent save feature that allows us to save all our effects and all its parameters, or change. If you guys look at the link there, I gave them 2 options. I said we can do 1 or 2 things. We can allow it to save, right? You change it and then you save it. It writes your parameters to a file, and then every time you load it pops back up, just like we have the A and B. But it doesn't just stop. Like if we look down here, we have effects bank A, which is, this is my 72 settings, right? Notice they're all just set to a depth knob. That's all we can do. Or my B, which is my 1, but again, as you see, I just went back to the 1, and once again I have to go in and change this and change this. And now if I go to triple effect, because in theory I've set my echo where I like it, when I go to triple effect, that echo, if I was to change this back to echo, doesn't stay, it doesn't save those settings. And when I go back, guess what? It's back to default. So my thing was either make the save feature, save those parameters, or B, allow the user to define their default. So if my default echo, like there should be a tick box on the screen right here, that when I change the settings to where I like it, I put a tick box that says make default. And now that setting for echo is now persistently the default setting for echo, no matter where I am, no matter what I plug in, no matter whether I'm in triple effects or single effects. It'll allow you to remember that. And how hard is it to just change it once in a while if you need to? And like I said, it's not a big deal for one, but you're trying to use, these things are sold to us on the idea we're spending $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 on a mixer. And one of the first taglines of the unit is usually six effects, stackable effects. And you're like, cool. But what about the other 6 effects that come on the software? I can't really do anything. You give me a depth knob and that's really about it. So moving forward, the main, and you guys that came here for this, we're having trouble trying to find a good sounding echo in Serato software. Now, like I just explained, if you're a person that uses the 3 effects, until they implement this, or if they even implement it, you're SOL. Like, you're going to be using the default echo or clean echo. Clean echo is not that bad. I use just the regular echo. We'll go into my settings here, you guys can see it. I go into my regular echo here, as you can see on the left. As we talked about before, the depth knob is going to change your depth. Usually I keep it right here around 3 o'clock. If I'm cutting, I put it up around here around 11. That way you get that nice little kind of like quick slap back effect when you're cutting. But if you're mixing and you're looking for like a washy kind of long effect, I usually come up around here at 3 o'clock. Feedback, as I said before, for hip hop or low tempo stuff, I'm usually in the 50 to 70 range, and then dance music, I'm in the 70 to 80 range, and then high pass cutoff. This is, like I said, this is just going to take the kick out of your loop. So when you do hit that, you're not getting like thump thumps. You don't want that in your echoes. This is really the basic echo settings that I think I've run into people using the most. It's what I like. I've had people that I've played with be like, dude, how do you get your echo to sound like that? You just have to leave it here. And the thing is, as of right now, we have to remember that this is how you set it up. Like if you don't remember these numbers, every time you come back in, you're going to be like, oh, what was it again? What was it again? So pretty simple. And really that's the take home point is get your feedback in there, get your filter there. And also generally speaking, you want your beat, increment to be a half, not a half delayed. A half delay is actually a 3/4. So sort of. So if we give this a little bit of, give it a little volume. So something on the unit. So you can see right here, I have the just FX1 lit, right? So what that means is I have both of these. Well, actually, let's go back into Serato real quick so I can point this out to you. This is probably the easiest way to run this. If you try to run it with the other 2 buttons, it's not gonna not work, but it's a little bit annoying. If you look up here, so I have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 both enabled. So that means both channels are enabled with button 1. So when I go back, I got too many screens going. So like I said, I just have this 1 button. We're on this deck over here, and not that bad, right? It's washy. And then there's also that trick on the echo. You can add a little bit of filter to it if you want. That, remember, if you go to the right side, you're just now adding more of that low pass filter, just taking out the sub. Oh, taking out the bass a bit. So I have it at 60. If I turn it more, that's more like 90 or 120. So now when I echo this, it's going to be very high. And like I said, that increment that I'm at right now is great for dance music. I'm at, what am I at? 70 something. Oh, actually I'm on this side. Let's push this up to 70 and high pass cutoff here. So we'll go back to the default. So it's not bad. You can hear the filter taking it out. And again, that's with, we'll go back to that settings screen so you can see. And that's what these settings here. So if you want to get an idea, if you don't, right, but if it's so with 1 and 2 set, that means I mean, you could arguably, I haven't tried this, but you could arguably just shut off button number 2 and it should work the same way. So we'll turn this up and we'll echo it. Nope, it doesn't work. So yeah, that's the thing. So you got to put it on 1 and 2. So now the cool thing about this, I only use this one button right here. Am I on the right screen? Screens. Too many screens. Too many screens, Deadpool. Too many screens. All right. So now I'm on the right deck. I don't have to hit this. Now if I play this track. I don't have to hit this button again, right? I just hit this paddle. So all these buttons, we'll get into this in a second. Once Rane and Serato work out their juju, these buttons will then become mappable to whatever you want. Because if you're only using, well, here's what's funny. If we continue, I don't know why I'm holding the mic like I'm a 40s, like a 40s radio announcer. Man, kids, make sure you get down to the apothecary and get yourself some Moxie. If in fact they do decide to implement what we were talking about, these buttons will become a factor again, because now you'll have, you know, whatever it is, epic echo or epic reverb here, you'll have echo here, you'll have whatever here. And like we said, those settings that you made, that you saved, are now persistent across the 3. So now these buttons will actually do something. You'll actually go, okay, well now I just want to use echo and whatchamacallit, echo and break. You know, we'll go back to my 72 settings. So I have filter, dub, echo, epic, reverb, and break. So now if you're looking in here, you can see that's sending ghost. That's fun. That's sending ghost signals. You see that? Or my button's stuck. You see that? That was weird. So, oh, this button is down. Live, folks, we're live. There we go. So now if I put this on effect 2, breaker, but we don't want that breaker there, right? We want the breaker like here to do a platter stop. So if I want to do a platter stop break, turn this up a little bit. So if you want to do echo and break, actually that's not it. Is that too low? It is too low. Wow, that just sounds like poo. Try these two. Well, yet another reason. Let's just try the echo again. So, platter stop is working pretty well. Dial this down a little bit. This is actually exactly why you need separate knobs. And Pioneer really did get this right on their SR series, because if my breaker is set at Oh, you can't. Oh, you can see it a little bit. My breaker is set at 3, aka 9 p.m. So when I hit break, you get a break. But if I turn on echo, or say reverb, the problem is the reverb is only at 3, so you're not getting a lot of reverb, and you're not getting a ton of break. So yeah, so using the two of them together is obviously not ideal. Like, I mean, you need to have those be independent of each other. Otherwise, you're stuck. So these are things that maybe with a little bit of luck, they'll fix some of this stuff. We are in fact giving away an Innofader for a Rane 1. So if you're a 1 owner or a user or know somebody who is, or something like that, exclamation point ticket, exclamation point enter in the chat, that will get you in. We also got some slip mats from Innofader to give away as well. So if you're a vinyl guy still, you can use them there, or you can do what I did. And this brings us to our next topic here, is the slip mats in the platters that come with the Rane 1. The platters, I'm not gonna lie, man, like, they're dope. They're light, but they're powerful. You do have a they have a high torque, low torque version, or variant, whatever you want to call it. And this is just something I did. I ordered these from 12-inch skins. You do have to, like, basically screw them in to the bottom. They come all set like this, and I got like the classic pattern, so it feels a little bit like a record, but But then I went and I cut up. I shouldn't say because when it comes to arts and crafts, I'm horrible. I can't cut a circle or draw a circle to save my life. So my wife took an older pair of butter rugs, like actual, Dr. Suzuki butter rugs, and wax paper. And I got to tell you, man, like, these feel like I'm playing like really well maintained, like a really nice 45. Like, I know it's not perfect, it's not exactly, but damn, it's close. Like, the hardest thing for me has been, and this is my own fault, I'm an outside of the record guy, so my hands when I cut are usually like here. I know they should be in here, but I'm always out here. This has kind of forced me in the best possible way to you can only enter once, exclamation point enter. This has forced me to move to the inside of the platter more. And now that I'm in here, like, it allows, when I switch back, it allows me to move my hand back to the center of the spindle, which, as we all know, gives you more bang for your buck with your record movement. So I do recommend not throwing away, obviously, but switching to a more, what's the word I'm looking for, aggressive slip mat situation. You probably don't need to do wax paper and a, Dr. Suzuki slip mat, but the ones that come with it are like that rigid cardboard kind of thing. And I don't know, I just feel like I need a little bit of like sponginess underneath the platter for it, the way I like the record to feel. So that is something you should definitely look into. The next thing, we talked about the fader briefly, and of course we are giving away, well, I should say AGI Pro DJ and Kevin Shoop over there recently hit me up and were like, hey man, you want to give someone with a Rane 1 an Innofader? I said, of course, if you guys are down. And I hit up Innofader, and hopefully they're lurking in here. So if you guys have questions about the Innofader, fire away and maybe they'll answer them. I don't have one, and it's not because I don't want one. and this is actually a question. The the main reason why I haven't gone is because I'm not 100% aware, and I'm pretty sure this isn't the case, that an Innofader does not send MIDI to mix emergency. So if I'm doing video, I need my crossfader to send that data to mix emergency, or else I can't like really mix videos the way I want to mix videos. The other thing is I'm not a turntablist. I'm not that guy. Like maybe there was a small point in my life where I was like I cut. I'm more of like a DJ who cuts, not a cutting DJ. Definitely not a turntablist. So that I'm gonna give you guys some. If you're thinking of buying this, this is a Mag 4. It is. Let me switch. It is super fast, super light, and the problem I have with it isn't the feel, because I like the way Rane's feel. It's a taste thing, you know what I mean? I like the way they feel versus other mixers. The problem is their tag-along software or their utility software doesn't allow you to go in and change the cut-in point. So, or the cut-in angle. And if you were to look, let me see if I got something to draw on here. If you were to look to see how a crossfader's pattern is, say I got a pen around here somewhere. I'm on. I have a whole thing of pens, and now I can't find them. Wow. Oh, wait. I got one. I got one. It's blue. It's blue to match my hat. Don't worry, I'll switch cameras. If you were to look to see what a fader pattern actually looks like, we got sorry, drawing this. And you've probably seen this before. This pen is garbage. Just throw it out. Invent a better one. Go with the gold. Yeah, you know, and you know what's funny though is I've had some people say they like the 3 better. I have them both. I use Singer machine oil in them, and they're both super fast. The 4 is obviously lighter. It's got a smaller little magnet in it, so it's a little bit lighter. And they both fly, man. Like actually, I got the 4 during the pandemic, and I installed it on stream. And that first 2 weeks, I couldn't keep up with it. It was too fast for me. So I'm going to draw something, you guys. You probably know this. So if you were to look at the way a fader cut is, I'm going to draw a little line here. So the fader cut-in is if you were to go into your software and tell it to select 3. That means that cut-in, so bright. That cut-in would happen like 3 clicks in. Now, if you look at the other side, that's more like 1. So the distance between the fader wall and the cut-in on this side is 1. The distance on the fader cut-in on this side would be 3. There's nowhere to do that inside. Now, this is what I hear when I use this mixer. As you can see, the cut-in itself is sharp. Like, see what I mean? It's angular. And when I mean that, I'm talking about where I put that little arrow. That little cut right there is angular. It's sharp. This is what I feel like this fader sounds like. So we're going to put a fader wall and another fader wall, and then it goes like this. So instead of the cut-in angle, and I'm going to draw a box around exactly what I'm talking about here. that box, do you see that rounded curve? That's what the crossfader sounds like. Now, is that enough for me to be like, hell no? No. And if you have any question on it, I invite you to like go to somebody like DJ Ragoza's page, or oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the other kid's name. At the expo, Joe Bunn had one of his Bunn booths set up with a Rane 1 in it, and I'm just trying to find the other kid's name. I hung out with him, super dope turntablist, and they both were cutting on the one on the Bunn booth, and they had no problems. You know what I mean? Crabs and flares and all those fader-based open fader, quick fader cuts. They were crushing it. But my ear, I hear it a little bit. So something I've kind of brought to their attention, even though they are kind of skeleton crew right now, was we need a utility to make that fader cut a little bit sharper. Not in the sense of where it cuts, because it cuts in a good place, but when it cuts in, it's you know what I can do? I'll put in like a sample, and I'll show you guys. So let's do battle, and then we'll just find a sine wave. You can't even hear me talking, I know. Here's gag ball. So we'll just basically put that on a real quick loop. So what I'll do is I'll move the fader slowly, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's barely there. It's barely a thing, but I would love to go in and make that just a little bit sharper. Like I said, I saw plenty of guys this week rocking at the DJ Expo on a 1 and just cutting the hell out of it. So not a big deal, but it is a thing. What is a big deal, and this is something that I brought to their attention, hopefully they'll fix. You guys might be aware that in most of your software, for whether it's a Serato, a Pioneer or a Rane, you can go into the utility and adjust the resonance on your filter knob. And what that does is it allows, hey Yoshi, thanks for the sub, man. It allows you control of what they used to call whistle in your resonance. So the resonance on this is kind of set. Yeah, I'll wait for that because thanks, Faye. You know, Rane has a history of sending people things, so, you know, I mean, you already got a 72 MK2, so it's okay. I appreciate you flexing the updated shout out feature. So back to what we were talking about. What I run into is I like my resonance on my filter super low. Now, if you're saying to yourself, I don't know what the hell that means, it's more prolific and more obvious when you're listening to things with like a melody or anything like that. If you just throw on a beat, you might not hear it as much. But if you throw on something, I think this has got a little vocal at the end. Hey, thanks for the host. When I go ahead and turn the filter knob, you'll hear how much resonance there is. It's just too much for me, and I think it's Yoshi. I think it's shorter in the sense from top to bottom, but I think it's the same width, maybe even a little less. You know what? We'll just look at the specs. I have it right here. It is 26.5 inches by 13.6 inches. Here's the number that you need to be concerned with when it comes to bags and things of that nature. It is 4.9 inches tall, which in the scheme of things, if you think 4.9 inches is tall or big, then, you know, you have other things you need to be concerned with. But the reason why that's an issue is because when you go to put it in a case, these spindles add like almost an inch of height. And that's an issue with bags. Thank you, Sir Lancelot. I appreciate that. I was gonna say it myself, but between the feet, and I gotta tell you guys, the feet are an amazing feature. It allows you to snake all your cables underneath, and it keeps it so clean and pretty, for lack of better terms. See, there's that reverb and break that we were talking about. Once again, I'm going to post this link in here to get you guys to co-sign. For those coming in or just came in, I am pushing Serato to add persistent saving of effect parameters, or the ability to make your particular settings the default settings, which would allow you to use all 6 Serato effects channels with them on your settings. Like, I don't know if you know this, if you use Serato in any of the onboard effects in the 3 effect mode, you cannot change anything except for the depth. So, and even more of a problem, the depth on all 3 of them on this is the same. So if you look up here, you see, look at all 6 of those knobs are all tethered to this. So that means I can't do an echo at a certain depth and a platter break at a certain depth. If I want my echo up here, like a long echo, but then I want to do a platter stop that's here, I can't do that. But if they allow us to make our settings save, then you could do both. Billy, you had to get even nerdier than me. You know, I'm going to add featured chat just so I can throw that up there. Let's see. Browser source. You see, I do all this stuff in real time. Featured chat. There we go. And then we're going to bring it down here. Boom. Yeah, that works. On the fly. Doing stuff on the fly. That's what I do. So, for a while, I actually liked my resonance off. I like that. The first time I heard a filter knob was with no resonance, and I really, really loved it. Granted, it was like that rotary Vestax. Rotary Allen and Heath with like the VU meters. I was spoiled. The first time I ever heard a filter knob was really on a mixer was that, and I was like, sweet Christmas. I was like, this thing sounds amazing. So as I mentioned, if you go into any of the professional hardware solutions, you can change the resonance. But it's the same with the Serato effects. You can't change, even if you paid $2,000 for an S11 or a 72 MK2 or an A-Track edition or whatever, you still cannot save the effects parameters. So yeah, whatever, like we talked about at the beginning, that's not a big deal. But for you guys that are just getting there, it disallows you from using multiple effects, and that's one of the reasons you probably bought the mixer. Somewhere you saw a tagline that says stackable effects, use the 6 Serato effects, or use the 6 Serato effects plus 2 hardware effects, and you're like, dope, I can do all this. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, I can't use my settings. Like, I can't use my settings if I'm using triple effects. So now, like on a unit like this, you're really relegated to one thing and one thing only. And that's changing it from triple effect to single effect. But like we spoke about earlier, in single effect mode, you change it, you set it where you like it, and even if you click save, those settings don't save. So again, that link that I put in the chat, click on that. Make sure you sign in Serato and just co-sign it. If the way Serato works is, oh, no, that's not entirely accurate, because would have loop roll if that was the case. If people get behind the idea and want it, then, you know, if you're using a DJJ or any of the mixers that have paddles for their effects, and you want to be able to use all 6 with your settings, we need this. So it's kind of a call to action, for lack of better terms. Let's all you need to do is put a comment. Just comment +1, react, or whatever, you know, you want to, whatever you want to write. Just don't write, don't do it. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. I see you. Hopefully this will get done, because I mean, I feel like it's a must, right? Like, we've been doing this whole time, and they're implementing like beat source and you know, the streaming capabilities and all this crazy stuff that they're implementing in the software. I'm like, yo, we just want persistent saving. Like, that's not really a big deal, is it? Is it that hard to do in this era? Like, I don't get it. All right, pushing on. Or something. Oh, let's give away something. Let's oh, hold on. We only have 3 tickets bought. All right. It doesn't cost anything to buy a ticket. You just put !enter. And if you put that, you have a chance to win. So !enter in the chat. There you go. And that'll, Kevin, really? If you win, you know what happens? That means I have to pick somebody else. I wish I could remove people. It doesn't allow me to. I could block you, but I don't want to do that. So what we'll do is we'll give away a set of slip mats first. Like I mentioned, I had the pleasure of hanging out a little bit this weekend at DJ Expo with the Innofader people, and they gave me a stack of slip mats and said, hey man, give them away. Like, you know, so if you've never seen or used, hey Bishop, what's good, man? Got to hang out with Bishop too. Yeah, !enter. If you're into cutting, you really need to look into Innofader. Like, enough said. They work in those circles of scratch DJs for a damn good reason. So we are going to give one of those away towards the end. Where are we at now? We're at almost an hour. So let's pull. I'm going to pull one person out. Giggity. You know what? No, you know what? We're going to wait. And the only reason why I'm going to wait is because if I close it, anybody who tries to come in after this, everybody will have to jump in again. So we're just going to, we're going to do them both at the end. We're going to give away 2 sets of slip mats, and then Kevin from AGIProDJ.com, your #1 source for DJ gear and everything else that you need in your life, is going to give away an Innofader for a Rane 1. So at this point, let's hit any questions that people have, any problems that people are having. And while we're doing that, while those pop up, I'll just do a talk through the mixer so you guys, both what I feel like it needs. Yes, no, Rane 1 Innofader. Why would you need, Yoshi, why would you need an Innofader in a 72? No, we can get to that. So one of the things that hopefully we'll see is the full ability to make the unit 100% remappable. You can map things as it is now, but it won't overwrite the setting. So if you try to map like the motor off button, if you hit it, the motor will still shut off. Oh, that's, I'm sorry, shift motor off. So once they allow full mapping and overwriting of the existing features, you can remap, just like on the 72 and everything else, you can remap everything. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Yoshi, it's a taste thing. I love the Mag 4. And like I said, I think I said before you enter, because I do video, I'm not 100% sure the Innofader sends MIDI, so I would lose the availability to crossfade videos, which is obviously a big deal for me because most of my gigs are video. But once they do remap this, if they allow the remapping like they did on all their other units, you can remap whatever you want. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, one, there is no sampler volume knob. So you could arguably say these two knobs right here. Oh, you can't even see that. This knob right here is the brake speed, which I feel like we don't change often. So, all right, set it here. That's about where I want it. So let that be a software thing, because if you're not aware, that is a feature in the software. You just go into Serato and then go to stop time. You see this little thing right here? It actually mirrors where I'm at with the knob. So I don't need this control. This is just me. I don't need this to do that. I'd rather have that be my volume of my my sampler, you know. The other thing, there is an aux in, and then there's a mic 1 and 2. You could use one of the mic lines as well. That's one of the cool things, that these days everything is sending a MIDI signal. So yeah, well, it's not no sample, you just have to remap it. Serato needs the ability to map to none, so you can remap other things like mix emergency. Yeah, well, that's what they're built. That's a hardware question, Greg. So they did it on the 72. They did it on the 71. I'm sure they're probably going to do it on the 1. I don't have a reason why they haven't. I'll allude and guess that in the last 18 months, they've probably reduced themselves to a little bit of a skeleton crew, and there hasn't been a whole lot of R&D. Let me just show you guys real quick what the thing looks like here. Let's go to applications. Rane 1. That's it. You see this right here? This is their utility. So it's version 1.0. There hasn't been any updates. And every single time they release a firmware update, basically they add more and more and more and more to that. So basically, eventually, I'm hoping it would stand to reason that they will start adding the resonance adjustment, the remapping of the unit, which, you know, you can go into Serato and then go to MIDI and then click on the Rane 1 and see how I said we have this here, the allow the remapping, but it doesn't disallow the feature. So the feature is still persistent, even though you're basically turning a knob or a button into a dual tool. So like, for example, if you were to remap shift, it would be shift still plus whatever you mapped, which can be problematic. So another cool feature about this, I definitely want to mention this. Out the gate, some people are asking why it didn't have silent Q. And the cool thing about this unit is that if you bring it back to the beginning, this start stop button starts the track immediately and then allows the platter, even though the platter takes right off, to catch up. So your silent Q is literally the button. Like, so you don't need silent Q with this particular unit. If that's something you're looking into, you go to where you want to go, you leave your fader up, and when you're ready, you just hit it. Like, it's super, super quick. So that's a little bonus that people were like, oh my God, there's no silent Q. The one of the things that I would have done was the key lock on and off. You actually have to hold shift and the button. So as you can see there, my key is going on and off, but on this unit, I have to reach across. I'd rather have this button right here just do my tempo, my master tempo, or my pitch and time, whatever you want to have mapped to this. This button is a lot easier, just once. Or even the Q button, because I don't know about you guys, I don't use the Q button, and it's right here. So if I'm going to cut, I just jump right in and turn off the master tempo or the pitch and time and allow yourself to cut. Some other shortcomings is there is no And this is a hardware one, so I don't see them fixing it. There is no session out with dedicated volume control. You have 2 XLRs for master, and this is a great thing. You have 2 XLRs for booth. Now, I actually can't remember if it's combo or not. So you have 2 XLRs for booth, 2 XLRs for master. The fact that they put XLRs for booth is amazing. I don't know how many times like I either grabbed like the XLR female to 1/4 inch, or just, you know, one, maybe it's broken. Just to have a straight XLR for a booth monitor is amazing. Absolutely love it. It's got RCA out, but it's master. So it's always going to mirror whatever you have your master set on the unit. This would seem like not a big deal, but where I ran into this being a bit of a problem was if you're going to stream with it and like from an event and you want to run it, say, into your Mevo. Let's change scenes here. Deadpool, come back. If you're running a Mevo, you've got, of course, you've got a 1/4 inch in, a 1/4 inch. You've got a headphone jack in, and you can't put it on a dedicated control. So you can get XLR to dual RCA to headphone jack in and just run it off the monitor, booth, whatever you want to call it. But it would have been nice if this is something they really can't fix, I don't think. Allow you to control the master RCA outs on their own channel. Like, not being able to do that is just kind of like having 2 master outs now. It would be nice if the shift keys would work across decks. Oh, so the shift on the right plus yeah, I get you. I probably wouldn't use that myself, but I could see where it would be a thing. It's got 2 mic ins, which, you know, one mic in is also an aux in. So you can do, it's a combo jack, so you can do 1/4 inch in with a splitter, and then you do have control over that on the mic 2 settings on the front of the unit. You can control your level in. So if you're gonna run something in that way, you can have 3 things running. And then the other cool thing about it is it's got CD line phono in that you could also run something in. But then again, remember, if you do run that, you have to switch it from, you know, USB AB over to line, which means you lose a channel. So I think more in the protection of yourself during an event where you're gonna maybe run an iPad or something like that, you should probably run it into the aux rather than sacrifice one of your channels. Not that it's that hard to just switch the line over, but if you've got this 3rd one in, make sure you get a 1/4 inch to dual RCA or whatever, you know, you're going to run into that. Make sure it's stereo, and you can use that 3rd channel however you want. Yoshi, I'll get you some mats, man. Well, so GeForce, that's fair. I think if you guys want to know about this, for those that don't know, Rane uses a little bit of a different gain system, and more importantly, how it's reflected in its LED lights. This is even more pertinent if you're using a 70, 72, or even a 62. And this isn't a dig against Pioneer, but I've always been super aggravated that the lights on the master only reflect the position of the master volume knob, not the sum of the multiple channels. This is why this is an issue for me. If you're running channel 1 in the yellow, maybe peek in the red a little bit. If you're running channel 2, also in the yellow, maybe peeking in the red a little bit. The sum of those 2 channels equals red, right? If you have 2 tracks running full volume, the output, the thing that's being sent to the master out, is more than likely going to be red. On a Rane unit, on the 72, on the 70, you have your lines and you have your master. Your master, your LEDs, only reflect the sum of the multiple channels, telling you before you send it out to the house if your master out is actually red. Now, all these mixers have so much overhead, you can send red and probably it's not going to be the end of the world as long as it's not pinned. But if you're like doing mixes and live mixes rather than going in and normalizing it, or if you're like me, you're a super nerd and you want your audio to be as pristine as possible, having that gain structure at your fingertips is absolutely massive. Now, if you're a scratch DJ or an open format DJ that doesn't give a shit, then fair enough. You know, this isn't like a do or don't thing. This is kind of like, this is there for you if you're the kind of person that really wants their stuff sound as polished as possible. So an example of that would be, let's go back to the mixer real quick. Ah, that's not the mixer, is it? So if you look over here, my channel is on the right. My main, well, I should say my left and right, my stereo out is here. I have a loop in here somewhere. So, hey, what up, Fever? So, if you look at that, let's push it, try to get in the red. So, as you can see here, my channel is poking in the red, but my master is only poking in the red a little bit less. So I can bring this back just a tad. And then what we'll do is we'll just load up another track on the side. That's the same song, that ain't gonna work. So this is a perfect example. If you look, my two channels are not in the red. But my master occasionally is. And that's because Rane units, the LED shows you, like I said, the sum of all your channels, including, I believe, including your sampler on that. So it's understanding that allows you, when you're mixing or blending, I don't know if you guys ever heard this analogy before. A good friend of mine, Paul Daly, when we were teaching at the DJ school, used to use this analogy, and I found it really, really, really helpful. Now you guys are all DJs. I'm not going to teach you anything. You guys are, you know, far more successful than I am. But this is a cool little thing that you can actually use when trying to explain to somebody the importance of gain structure. If you look at the mix as a cup, and if you look at 100% of this cup being full, then you have a second cup with the same amount in it. So now you have two cups with, let's just say, 100 milliliters of fluid. Both those fluids need to go in a 200 milliliter or even 175 milliliter container. So if I try to add both of them, it'll overflow, aka be in the red. So as we all know from mixing, like how to attenuate certain things, so you're not basically just running two tracks full blast and putting the house in the red. We learn how to adjust those things. One of the things that the Rane does is basically tell you how full your cups are. So, and it happens before you hear it, not after. So that's sort of the ideology behind using the Rane stuff as opposed to other gear. Hey, thanks, DZ. So it's is it gonna make or make you a better DJ? No. But if you're a nerdy guy and you're like, hey man, this is a tool that's available to me to make my stuff sound as clean as possible, why not use it, right? If you're using other style of mixers, like I said, oftentimes this knob right here doesn't do anything. Let's go back to this. Anybody who's got a Pioneer mixer knows when you have the master down, and even if you have the faders up, your master output shows nothing. You get line levels, but you get nothing. But if you start turning, let's sing the faders down, you start turning the volume up, and your master starts showing basically, and this is asinine, sorry, the position of this knob. That's all the master LED does on other mixers, and it drives me crazy because I'm like, all right, this knob says I'm at 7 and these lights say I'm at 7. Why? Because they're connected. This is really just showing you the position of the knob. So when people ask some of the things about Rane that I like, that's one of the big ones. And when I do mixes and I drop them into software to like look at them, they look like they've already been mastered. They look like they've already been normalized because you can set it and use the tools in front of you. All right, so let's give away some stuff, right? Exclamation point enter in the chat. We'll make sure that we give everybody an opportunity to get in here and win some slip mats or some potentially a Rane 1 Innofader, which I believe is like the Mini Plus, I think. I forget. Not quite Kova, but 45. I don't know if you have to put let me look at if you put you in. I don't think you have to put a space in there. Yeah, you didn't enter. No space. Just exclamation point enter, no space. Damien, how we doing? Sorry, I'm just going back through this a little bit. Kevin, you did backwards, but don't enter. Exclamation point. There we go. I got you in here now. P45. Rico, I see you. Get you in here as well. We got about a dozen folks in here. Well, I think the first 2 people we pull are going to be getting slip mats, and what I need you to do is just in a whisper. And I say in a whisper because if I start getting mailing addresses in multiple places, I will lose them. So, and it happened with the expo. Like I had everybody lined up for the expo, and then one person who emailed me rather than sent me a whisper, I forgot because I keep everything in one place. Not that fader. They have a different one you can put in there. Obviously, you know that. They have different ones. If you've never been on the Innofader, do you prefer G4? You'll have to go into that a little bit deeper. A preferred echo out filter. I honestly on my heart. Oh, so like on the Rane. So I use hold echo, and I have it at I think 80% feedback, 70% depth, and then I think 60 on the high pass filter, low pass filter, whatever it is. High pass filter, right? Yeah, high pass. You know, fader, I think we could probably actually we'll leave that up to AGI because they're the ones that are gonna do. I mean, it is kind of a Rane thing, but I mean, if I pull you, here's the thing, and I'm just putting this out there. Don't feel like you have to do it. I do have my giveaways on my channel set to, so as you guys saw, this tickets, right? So the tickets, obviously everybody gets one, but if you are a subscriber, you actually put 2 tickets in the hat. So just putting that out there. Don't know where to do it. I'm just saying that you have a good chance. And I see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 subscribers that have exclamation point entered. So That's a thing. So yeah, so on the I assume that's what you meant. Greg was on the mixer, because on this you only have echo, clean echo, tape echo. I just use regular echo, combo echo. I mean, there's quite a few. Filter echo. I could probably try filter echo. I think when I first got this, I went through all of them trying to find one that I liked, and I ended up back at the regular echo. And I know people were like, oh, the regular echo sounds like crap, but once you dial in those settings, the feedback and the cutoff, it's not too shabby, you know. All right, I am closing the giveaway. Last opportunity, ! Enter. We're going to do first 2 people against slip mats. Once again, if you do win, let me know. Send me a whisper with your address. I will get them out as soon as possible. And the third person will be getting... you can only enter once. Come on now. If you want to double your chances, this is a subscribe button. Oh, I'm such a whore. All right, let's do this. I am closing it down. All right, ready? Meta pattern. What is good with the... Oh man, tell me you didn't come in right after I closed it. What up, Mike? How we doing, man? I closed it. I can't reopen it now. All right, first winner. G-Force. See how that works right up there? You're getting send me your address. You're getting no worries, man. Let's do another one. Ready? Second winner, slip mats. Rico. I love that it shows you like their winning percentage, right? That's pretty dope. Let's go back to full screen. Mike, let's do a shout out for you again and see if we get that girl. Let's see if she comes back. Oh, it was you this time. That's funny. That's better, right? All right. So G-Force and Rico are getting slip mats. Again, drop me your address and we'll get them to you. Before we draw the third one, are there any questions that people have about the Rane 1? I will do my best to answer them. Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, I've been using this thing now for 2 months. I have many rooms that are sort of like, there's no room for turntables, or it's low key. Like, hey man, like people aren't gonna dance. It's dinner vibes. Like no one can see you. So in my mind, the ideology I kind of put together for this was like, if I'm going to be on a stage or a focal point, I'm on the flyer, things like that, I will bring my 72 and my turntables. If I'm in a hotel lobby or a pub where room is super limited, and the biggest factor for me was a year ago or 2 years ago, depending on how you look at it, I was really looking at the SRT because everybody was like, yo, it's the closest thing to like playing out with some pro gear. And it's not a matter of like, oh, you don't want to use a controller. It has nothing to do with that. I don't want to sacrifice my creative juices because I'm limited by the software or the hardware in front of me. So when this came out, it was kind of like moving platters, Mag 4 fader. Those are like the two things that I really wanted in a unit. And then I'm an official Rane DJ, so like I'm predetermined to gravitate towards it. That's not to say I don't have problems with it. Like I said, I have an email to them with a list of things that I want them to either change or fix or put forward in the MK2 if they're ever going to do an MK2 or a Pro, whatever their plan is. In full disclosure, I have no idea. No idea. Like I said, I feel like maybe they're a skeleton crew mode because of the pandemic still, and you know, unit. All right, so there's no other questions. Let's see I actually, I haven't used algorithm. I have it on my phone. It's my backup, and knock on wood, I've yet to, let's get music. Yep. I got DJ Pro. Not that you can see it. I actually have DJ2, DJ, and DJ Pro all on here in case, but let's hope it never gets to that. Funny story real quick. If you guys haven't seen, my son actually shot a commercial for in music for the Newmark Party Mix Lite, which is like their party mix unit with a thing. And they actually did that whole set on a phone with algorithm, which was pretty cool. It's getting there, man. Like the big hulking setups are going away. Ooh, I've never done that. Hold on, let me put that up on the screen. So, oh, I didn't even talk about that really. I gotta tell you, man, like I am not a nudge guy, like a nudge button, but having this mixer, it's actually been a pretty cool feature. Like I'm a drag the platter guy, but I think they added them because if you're not aware, the spindle is actually where the data comes from. So if you start pinching the spindle, you're really going to influence where the record is going. I even was like, hey, when I was talking about ideas for the next one, I was like, let's just bring the spindle down to the cover. Like this is a 1/2 inch. And where this was a problem, almost every bag I looked at didn't have 4 inches of clearance for this. So what I ended up with was the Gator backpack, like 27-inch. I'll show you what it is. And it breaks my heart because I am ride or die jetpack. Like I've been with jetpacks since their interiors were white, put it that way, not orange. Absolutely love the company. Absolutely love the guys who run it. Absolutely love the products. So it broke my heart to have to buy a Gator bag. Not just because I want to support my friends. They make a hell of a product. So this has been decent. It's not bad. Oh, you can. Yeah, you guys don't have it. I'm not persuading anybody to not use HCI Pro DJ because you guys know that I'm ride or die for them too. But I did see like 4 of them at Guitar Center. So if you're like, I need one now, the other move is, and I have one and I love it, it's just not functional for me, is the Pro X. Pro X outfitted one of their rolling carts with Rane 1 like hardware pieces inside, so it just snaps right in. And I love it, and but that's for like mobile events if I want to bring it and be polished. The other thing that is huge for me, and it's because I'm 6'2", I need height. So if like I show up somewhere and they like give me like a banquet table that's, you know, like 35 inches or whatever, I've actually taken this and flipped it over, and then actually I took out and let me show you what I did, because this is necessity being the mother of invention. Yeah, Rico, this holds a 1. I basically put more Velcro inside here, so these will go here, and then when they're in, when the unit is inside, go ahead, I know you want to. When the unit's inside, this actually goes here and protects the spindle when it's in the bag. That way, because if you're not aware, if you push a spindle in too hard, it'll jack up the unit quite a bit. So that's the big thing with these. You want to protect the spindle. So I basically created my own padding system. Like these come with it, right? So it's not like you got to buy extra, but I put those there. So when it goes on there, it's pretty well protected. Yeah, well, here's the best part about this thing, man. Like it's actually relatively well constructed. Like I said, it is not a jetpack, but what it is. It is a backpack. So walking with this into a gig is pretty damn easy. Like, it's not as small as my SR2 shoulder bag, but to be able to bring this with this, and in here I put my computer. Hey, Rico, thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate that. I put my Mac Power, my hard drive, and my stand in this. So there's some places that I literally just walk in with this on my back and I'm good to go. So I'm waiting and hoping and praying that the boys at Jetpack will come up with something similar, because I love to support my team and I know whatever they come up with will be dope. The drop system isn't quite, no, it's actually a Gator, Fever. And I arrived at it because I was putting the specs in, you know, all the sites, because it's 26.5 inches by 4 inches high. So most bags only sit 2.5 to 3 inches high. So, it might be big, might be a little big for a carry-on, although it'll fit in the overhead, but it'll be so you know what? I'll get you guys a model on this. Actually, Kevin, do you have a link in case somebody wants to like order it to you guys? I considered the deck saver too, but I don't know how high the deck saver comes up over the spindles. If it comes up like another like ½ inch, it's probably not going to work. Like, you know, like, so that's why in my feedback for this, I said, no one's going to be pinching these spindles anyways, because they're going to have kind of not erratic, but kind of questionable behavior. Why not bring these down flush, take away that ½ inch to 5/8 of an inch, and bring the height of the unit down to, you know, 3 inches, you know, 3 5/8 inches, whatever it might end up being once you get rid of these. It wasn't a huge deal, but it's, you know, like, I'm looking for bags. I have a lot of friends in the industry. I think Kevin, I think I even asked you, and that's how I ended up with the Pro X. Like I said, I love the Magma Riot XL. You know, I think the last Magma bag I bought, though, I think it kind of fell apart on me. What I do have that's Magma that's amazing is the hell is it? Their Rane 72 case is actually really good, surprisingly. And it's inexpensive. That's obviously, I'm actually, you know what? Let's look this up real quick. Rane, XL. All right, so it's the same kind of backpack, $300. Let me see what the size specs are here. Specifications. Well, maybe it's not that one. Wait. Hold on. So the specs of the Rane is 26.5 by 13.6 at 4.9 inches. This is showing that the Magma Riot DJ Bag XL, and maybe the specs are wrong here, are 20 by 16, 20 by 12.6 by 3.15. So that won't fit in that bag unless they're wrong on the site here. I'm on the DJ hookup. Maybe these numbers are for like the non-XL, because that's 4 inches too short. As we all know, 4 inches makes a difference. Let me go to another site. Let me look at we'll look here, see if they list the specs here. Thank you, DJ on Twitch, for that link. Yeah, I mean, do you have this and you got a Rane 1 in there? Like, does the top expand or something? Ah, gotcha. So like it extends out, kind of like the drop. Gotcha. Because it's weird that they wouldn't mention that in the size. You know what I mean? What's funny is they don't even mention the size on this page. Like I'm in the specs, and it's not listed here. I'll show you the link I'm looking at. Oh, they got a picture. Gotcha. Thanks, man. But yeah, here it just says, I didn't read on, so I didn't see that it has a expandable part. Yeah, it says it's internal dimensions 20 by 12.53 controller compartment. Shipping dimensions are only yeah, I'd have to hold on. Let me look at these pictures real quick, see if this shows it expanded. Yeah, like it's barely showing. Am I looking at the right one? Oh, wait, I'm looking at. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, man. Really? You get a 1 on that thing? We're talking about a 1, right? Not a 72. I'm looking at it even expanded. Oh, okay. Now I see it. I see this last picture here. All right, hold on. Excuse me. I wonder if I can link this picture. No, it's, oh, wait a minute. There we go. View page source. No, nope, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, the last picture is them showing like the top rolled out. I get it. I get it. Yeah, that spindle thing scares the crap out of me. Oh, XL Plus. That just showed me the XL. All right. My bad. That's dope, though. It's good to know. It's good to know. I'm always exploring other options. Let me just look. I just want to look at this up. All right. Are we ready to give away that Rane 1? There we go. Magma multi-format workstation XL Plus. That can't be it. All right, I'm giving up. I believe you. The picture they showed, a guy was putting like a Pioneer mixer in it. So the biggest thing for me was depth when I was looking. Thank you, AGI Pro DJ. Roll top back. Roll top. That's the term I was looking for. It's kind of like their version of the drop bag. So you can expand the top to as however deep you need it. Giggity. Oh, they don't really have a picture of it. Like, that stinks. They don't really have a picture of it like open, putting a whatchamacallit on it though. Nah, that's all right. Magma is like is an interesting product. Like, I feel like their stuff is either really cool, it's all clever. Oh, look at that. They have a little phase case and a rolling case. Wow. Good for them. Like I said, I have the Carry Light case, which is holds my 72 perfectly. I bought pick and pluck foam, like the denser stuff, and did it myself. All right. So are there any other questions or concerns or lessons that can be passed on? Like I said, this video is going to go up on YouTube. So if you want to come back to it or you want to reference it to people, that'll be out there for you. If you've never been to my YouTube page, I do want to, full disclosure, with this stream today, I was actually going back and forth. Should I make a YouTube video and like edit it and produce it and do all that stuff, or should I stream it and just upload it? So I ended up here, obviously. I still want to start making polished, nice content for YouTube. I just feel like it's sort of oversaturated, and I just don't want to be regurgitating what other people that are already in that lane and doing it very, very, very well. I don't feel like I need to go in there and be like, here's me, I'm going to do it too. Like, leave it to those guys. I'll stream it. I'll put it to YouTube. You guys can check it out. All right, let's see who is winning. Ready? Are we ready? Can I get a drum roll? P45, you still here? You got to be here. Let's see if he's still here. We'll give him the hey, there you go. I'm going to actually, Kevin, can you whisper with P45 Urban Events and get him sorted for the Innofader, if you would? I'll wait for you to confirm that before I say go for it. I'll let you guys make sure. Wow, man. Okay. AGI is on it, which is amazing. Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate that. Here's something heartbreaking, and I know you're not supposed to talk about it, and you're not supposed to do it. Somewhere over the last 2 days, I lost 5 followers. I shouldn't be looking. I shouldn't care. I'm not here for numbers. I get that, but it's just heartbreaking to be like 5 people were like, nah. Oh, well. Last question. If you use, let's throw it up there. If you use an external MIDI controller, be careful about crosstalk. The Rane 1 decks take up a lot of MIDI commands that can disrupt. You'll be in a world of hurt. Yes, so depending on what software you're using, you can actually go in as well and tell it to not listen. So one of the things with like Mix Emergency, you can go in and tell it not to, collect data from that unit, to ignore it. So make sure. No, yeah, that could be it too. Yeah, React, that's a good point. Still heartbreaking. Because I don't have a lot of followers, I kind of notice all of them and they come in. So I wasn't getting a lot of bots, but still. Thanks, Deeps. I appreciate that, dude. Likewise. We gave you a little shout yesterday because I played the mustache song. But let's give you a proper shout because I'm curious what will come up when we shout you out. Let's see. What? Did I put it in wrong? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Why did it? Do you not have clips? Let me try again. I just copied and pasted your name that time, so it better work. No, do you have clips off? You're the second person. You and Billy both have this happen when I shout you out. Yeah, see? Let's see if let's check somebody else. Hit up the homie here. So you have clips? Him too. Damn you guys. Save your clips. Annoying. All right, let's do another one because I'm annoyed that you guys don't have clips, and like I said yesterday, I'm still working out the what I want to do with this. So save this one. Hey, there we go. Thank God. All right. So we gave away 2 slip mats and as well as P45 Urban Events, won the Innofader, which I'm sure you and Kevin will figure out. Let's see who is on right now that we can take this party to. If anybody pops up originally. First off, let me thank you guys. I'm streaming 2 days in a row, which is something I usually don't do. But I hadn't done a BTS in a while, and this is sort of a BTS. I'm going to do more BTSs because, as you guys can probably imagine, I do get a fair amount of messages from people. How do you do this? How do you do that? Which I love passing that information on. I feel like the more people we have pushing the whatever you want to call it, the platform, the better it is for us. And not necessarily doing like what me and Fader and some of these other guys do, like, man, straight to camera, one input only, do your thing, You guys need to follow each other, P45 Urban Events. If you're not following. Oh, I wonder. Oh, he's not on. I was going to raid Jason Mewes, but I thought he was on. He's not. Sorry, I'm just looking to see where we want to take this party to. Well, you know what? I know where we'll go. And I know, yeah, shocker, right? I should be on more, and I'm going to try my hardest to do that. I promise. Let's go into dashboard And we're going to hit one of the homies on the other side of the pond. Come on. There we go. It looks like he's got a decent little party going on. Which day? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I got to start doing more. You know what I need to do? More Call of Duty, more BTS, and you know, I'm still doing Afternoon Delight on Monday. I'm still doing Revenge of the Breaks tomorrow night at 6:30 Eastern. But I was talking yesterday about maybe doing like an 80s show, like a late 70s, 80s, early 90s, like capturing like those 14 years, like 78 to 92. For those who don't remember, I did have a show called 78 92, but I did it twice. And then Vintage was like, will you bring your show into our circle on Fridays? So I might bring the 78 92 thing back. And we'll see. We are going to raid 4Guard. Thank you guys once again. Big shout out to Innofader as well as AGI Pro DJ. I do suggest you guys use them. They're DJs. They're not like a big company just collecting money. They are DJs. They're great guys. They're family. So make sure you at least check with them before you pull the trigger on anything. They will never steer you wrong. And I will be back tomorrow for Revenge of the Breaks. And yeah, have fun with 4Guard, one of the homies. He has a wild, high energy, outside the pocket kind of fun stream. Things are always breaking, which is always fun to watch. So